in the course of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be impactful, but I think Ryan actually says this all the time. Like, it doesn't mean much till finals. So, it's a great win for us. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I think Perth are probably the team to beat right now. So I think for us to be able to play on the road and defend the way we did, and then even though we didn't probably shoot the ball as well, we got pretty cold in the second half, find ways to still score and still be able to keep the scoreboard ticking. And, I think we'll see what happens the rest of the season. It could become a pretty important win by the end, but as we do every week, take it one game at a time. And, now we'll go home and rest up and turn our attention to Southside.
Really, though, is it, whilst every game matters, the ones against Bendigo and Perth matter more, and you now go home for 3 games to finish the season with your own destiny in your own hands. Yeah,
definitely, absolutely. But as we've seen this year, I think our task is to continue to build on that, and not take our foot off the pedal and not relax, and otherwise that game doesn't mean anything. So we've got Southside on Saturday. That's going to be tough. They played us really tough a week ago, and I think we've got Canberra at home, who we just played a tough game against them, and then Bendigo, who beat the crap out of us last time. So it's there's no easy games, but I think it's a great step in the right direction, like I said, and I think our last 3 games at home give us a chance to probably fine-tune a few things and try and get to finals with some momentum behind us.
Coach said between the last game and Christmas, something like that, you guys only had 3 team sessions. Did you get any chance? Did you have any team sessions between?
None. So we had a day off yesterday, shoot around today. We watched some film last night, and then spoke a little bit about what we want to do in this game and what's going to be important and all those things, and had shoot around today and then played the game. So I think the girls have done a great job, and they've earned a couple of days rest, I think, when we get home, and then, like I said, we'll get back to practice and get another training, and then we have one training, and then we play Southside on Saturday.
So what do you think went into that offensive execution, especially in the first quarter or the first half? The whole team looked really comfortable getting through first, second, third, fourth options.
Yeah.
What do you reckon that came down to?
I think it's just this is all due respect, but I think sometimes we just forget what makes us good. And today we actually remembered that, and we moved the ball well. And I think when we're not just, someone comes off a pick and roll and all they're thinking about is scoring, and we're not seeing the whole floor, I think that's when we get bogged down. We take some early shots, and no one's in rhythm in our team. And I think, like you saw in the first quarter, particularly, when we move the ball and Abby gets an open 3, then Mila gets one, then Courtney gets one, then Alex gets one, then, they overhelp off rolls, she gets a layup, and then Lucy comes in and makes a play. I think that's when we're at our best. And, sometimes we forget that, and we probably, either scoreboard pressure or physical defense or whatever, and we just get a little bit trying to fight fire with fire rather than letting our offense create and just making good decisions from that, which then puts the defense in a tough spot. And then, as you saw, they got to close out long against Mila or Woody or someone, and we can attack and then create a shot for someone else. So, it's hard to guard when we play like that. So, I think that's hopefully something we learn from in our next game and continue to do that. But I think on the flip side, we need to get better at playing against physicality and pressure. Perth came out after halftime in the zone, and their guards were hand-checking, doing all those things, and we need to know the refs aren't going to call those fouls, and so we have to find a way to adjust quicker than what we did. Otherwise, the games become a real dogfight. But, as I've said the last month, I think all of these games, that happening gives us something to keep working on. Our players learn from that, and then next time we handle it a bit better. And as I said, hopefully by finals we can play our best basketball and at least have a chance to be able to try and win it.
You've had some interesting facial expressions while you're looking at the
stats.
Have you noticed your own stats?
Yeah, no. I feel what I did notice is no one really shot the ball well. So I feel it's really impressive to kind of come in here and beat Perth. I think we usually shoot the ball at a really high percentage, and it was a bit of an off night for everyone, and I think it's really great for us to still find a way to win against a really good team. It's pretty crazy.
You know how close you were to
Yeah,
a
it's the
triple-double,
rebounds.
so-
The rebounds today let me down. But that is
Let you
something. Oh no, but it is something we talked about. I think Mila had 9 as well, which I definitely think would be a career high for her.
Yeah.
So I think we went into the game knowing they've got Hansu, they've got Melee, probably the 2 best rebounders in the league. So we needed a little bit more from everyone. And I think what we lack in athleticism, we made up for in effort. So it was good. Happy with it.
The numbers are wild from a rebounding perspective. Like, you're getting big. The ones
Oh,
that
yeah.
matter, you're winning. Like,
Yeah.
The contested element of the game.
Yeah, well, I think we had a really good game plan, I think, coming into this game. Obviously, we're kind of trying to take away a few things, and we knew rebounding. Offensive rebounding for that, especially Melee, is huge. I don't know how many she had, but we just kind of went in there and just really tried to stay focused, because I think when we played Canberra, whenever it's a 50-50 ball against, like, another athletic guard, we're probably not going to come up with it. So I think just really focusing on, like, the effort and technique, and I think we were able to be, I don't know, overall, but hopefully it felt a little bit better tonight.
Ryan put his concerns to Hansu and the treatment she's been receiving on the agenda up on Thursday night. She wasn't happy tonight with the blow to the face she received. What were your thoughts on that?
Basketball play. I think it's unfortunate she got hit in the face, and I hope that she's okay. But I think those plays happen in basketball. Maybe it was a foul, maybe it wasn't. But I think you could go through that game, and I reckon I could find 20 examples of our guards getting mauled by their guards in their zone defense. So it just is what it is. I think everyone in this league needs to understand that the refs do their best. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. Just like sometimes I coach like crap, and sometimes I coach okay, and our players do the same. So I think it's frustrating as competitors, because we obviously, Ryan and I both want to really win, and Han wants to win, and Woody wants to win, and all those things. And I think the first people we always turn to is the referees as to why that's not happening. And as I said, I hope that she's okay, but that's just a basketball play.
So she very clearly turned around the rest and said she did that.
Yep.
So
But then she did it to Froling the next time down twice. So that's what I'm saying. This is just basketball players, right? She can do that, but then she's doing the exact same thing in retaliation on the next couple of plays, and we got a foul call for that. So it's that's basketball. I don't think we need to worry about that sort of stuff. We're not going out there trying to do anything to harm Shu. We're just playing basketball, and I think Perth are too. And I think people just need to focus on the game.
Woody, in the first half, you and Abby were able to just generate steals every time they beat you turn away.
Yeah.
You just on the bounce, just hop on that. In terms of getting into a rhythm, how does that kind of play a part? Causing turnovers and live ball turnovers as well.
Yeah, I think Han's obviously a huge part of what they do. I think when they played us in Townsville, she had 32 points, something crazy. So that was a huge part of kind of our defensive plan. I think whenever we're able to get out and transition, we've got such great finishers and our bigs, really great shooters. So I think that's when we're playing our best. And then obviously the game slowed down a lot in the second half, so I think it was good. It was ugly, but we still found a way to get enough points on the board.
Coach, how do you feel about just the possession game overall? I think you had roughly 20 more rebounds. And then
Crazy.
Their turnovers were usually going out of bounds, whereas the ones you were causing. No, their turnovers were live ball turnovers more of the time. And your turnovers the ones going out of bounds. How does that feel from the sideline?
Yeah, look, possession's everything in basketball. So, we've been terrible rebounding the ball, and that was one of the things we spoke about before this game, how important that was going to be. I think Annalie Maley still had 15 boards or something like that, right? But we at least held it to 3 offensive rebounds. We did a better job against Han, and then Atwell had a bit of an off-shooting night for them as well. So, I think we did a good job. And I think against a team like Perth, if you give them more possessions or you give them second chances or you turn the ball over live, they're going to absolutely destroy you and they'll score 100 points. And that's pretty much what happened last time we played them. We took terrible shots and they were able to punish us and run on that stuff. And I thought today we were a lot better.
Woody, sorry about that. 2 games in a row now against 2 really good bigs. Alicia's gotten into foul trouble in the 4th quarter. What do you think has been key, or who do you think has been key in being able to kind of galvanise around a big down the stretch when she?
Yeah, I think Chantal Horvat's been great for us. I think the fact that she broke her shooting hand and then has come back in the season and she's really figured it out for us, and we're really lucky to have her. So I feel there's games like that where you can just ask her to go out there and give her absolute best. She's obviously undersized against Han, probably a bit undersized against Atina last game as well, but she's going to give it 100% every game. So yeah, we're really lucky to have her.
Anyone on the Zoom want to ask a question? Ask now, please.
I'll jump in, please. Shannon Megan Husbate here. Just want to ask you about just losing Coxie. Obviously, that's created a bit of adversity in the group, but the wins over the last few weeks have been really gritty. Do you think adversity's made this group even tougher?
Yeah, I think so. Like, it's obviously we'd much rather have Coxie playing. She's pretty important to our team. But, you know, I think, as Woody said, I think Chantel's probably the one coming back from that broken hand, and she's found a little bit more confidence and form, and she's done a great job. She's so active on defense, you know, and just plays with great pace on offense. So what we've lost in, you know, Coxie's strengths, we've probably picked up in a different area where Chantel's a bit more like an Alex Fowler, just plays with high energy all the time. And you know, I think the rest of the girls have done a good job too of picking up some of the slack for, you know, what we're lacking not having Lauren in the lineup.
Anyone else want to ask a Zoom question, please?
Yeah, hey, it's just Seb from AAP. Courtney, I've just got a couple questions for you. We know that the Townsville Fire is a bit of a younger team. How have you kind of viewed that, especially in these really crunch games? How have you kind of viewed their age and experience, in these really big games?
Yeah, I think like we're young on paper, but I feel like the last couple of games especially, I don't think we play young. I think we've really shown like a level of maturity, and I think we've got young point guards that are able to, I think they've come a really long way, especially Abby. Like Abby's only in her second year in her professional career, and she's obviously the head point guard of our team. So I think a lot of credit, I think, goes to everyone. I think there's a really big belief in what Shannon's trying to get us to do, and I think there's a trust in our entire program. And I think there was some points throughout the year when we were going a bit off script. I think everyone's kind of now on the same page. Going into finals, that we're all trying to do the same thing every single game.
And obviously that fourth quarter was very hectic. It seemed that both teams were kind of going tit for tat there. What was running through your mind just in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think you're just trying to like kind of make every possession a good one. I think like obviously trying to get like as many stops as we can, but then really just trying to like generate decent offense. And obviously we did that sometimes and we missed shots, but just trying to get the girls to just trying to like take good shots. I think the third quarter got a bit ugly there for us, but then in the fourth we were able to kind of make enough happen. And I think just kind of keeping everyone calm, keeping everyone on the same page. So yeah, it was really good to kind of come away with a really ugly win in the fourth quarter.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.